Ilaria, thank you so much for your time today. A
Thank
little
you.
intimidated, I'll be honest with you, because there's a little guy in the back of my head who says you need to get back on track fitness wise too. But I keep making the excuse to myself that I'm busy. I have
Yep.
work, daughter, girlfriend, all these other things that I do. And I keep telling myself I'm busy.
Yep.
So, um,
I hear you. Listen, I hear you. Listen, it's my job, and I know that in a way it's easier because it's my job. But oh, hi, you have a beautiful cat.
thank you.
um, but it's yeah, it was part of the movie is not to intimidate, but it's kind of like to be knock, 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 knock,
Hmm.
Hey, remember your body, remember to treat it nicely, which means work it, sweat it,
Hmm.
hurt.
That's right, because we're all busy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that watching your film and kind of thinking a little bit about it, if we just keep on making that excuse, then we're going to wear ourselves out, and our body's not going to be able to keep up anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to make for a shorter span of being able to be productive.
Shorter, and I also think the quality of life is so much better if you can find a little bit of time every day to move. We're humans and we're animals as well, and we have to
Mm.
move. We have been so conditioned this last 100 years with everything from electric toothbrush to anything to have to not need to do anything with our body. And and it's about educating people. It's also about letting people know that is as important to train your body and to move it. Okay, I'm extreme. Mine is it's training many hours a day, and with something that doesn't mean that everybody has to do it. But the bottom line is that if it's walking, if it's swimming, if it's dancing around, if it's you just have to move. We're meant to move. We're not meant to be always sitting down.
I agree with you. I do feel better when I'm able to finally do get the time. I like going to the gym at like 5 a.m. and working
Amazing.
out because it just sets up the rest of the day. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
End of the day,
Yeah.
not so much. Doesn't feel as good. So,
You know
but
what, to everybody whatever works, but it's at the end of the day is whatever you can do whenever you can find time. And of course there are going to be days that it's impossible, your girlfriend,
Mhm.
as you said, daughter, cat, anything, so but they always come before you and your body, so it's finding a balance.
This is true. I will use the cat excuse one time. I will find a spot for it. So you have a very, very inspiring story that we are gracious enough to know about through the film Stronger for Life.
Thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about your experience and what happened, and also why you decided it was important to share?
Yes, thank you for asking. So my experience was that I was diagnosed with cancer in the summer of 2016, and that came to me as I think anybody when they are told the C word, you're just like
Mhm.
kind of like a whole world crumbles down. But you also, I'm surprised. I came from always being very healthy in what I ate. Plant-based diet, training all most of my life. So to be told that I had that cancer, I was like, the first reaction was like, why? And then
Mhm.
is anger, and then is why me? And then it's just coming to conclusion that, cancer doesn't discriminate, and realizing that perhaps the fact that I've always been trained so hard and I conditioned my mind, but also my spirit to be strong, it helped with the recovery. It helped with the process of what cancer, was for me. And the decision to make the movie was at very early on beginning. I didn't even know that I was going to be sick, but I
Mm.
knew something was not right. And my message for 25 years to anybody that I've always trained, whether it was in person or DVDs, traveling, that's been not my job. My life has always been training and motivating people and making them stronger. And stronger doesn't mean physically. Yes, it's great to have a good biceps and, great body, but it's every single hour that you spend at the gym to train your body, you enrich and you make yourself stronger as emotionally and mentally. Like, it's such a cliche, but people don't understand how important it is really training, not just for the healthy of the body. So I always had that message, and all of a sudden I get hit with cancer or with a challenge myself, and I wanted to be held accountable to my community and to anybody that is this message really going to like, now I'm in trouble. Now I am the one who has to find the strength to face. My challenge was cancer. It could be anything. For somebody, it could be divorce. It could be a car accident. It could be death. And it could be anything. My challenge at the time was cancer. And I wanted to record and show to, first it was just my community, but anybody that would want to see it, that actually exercise as in training, as in physical exertion does help you and does help you to fight stronger, anything that you have to fight.
I think what was inspiring to me about it was that it is a very serious thing to go through, but the way you approached it and you were very, very motivated to get past it is that it almost seemed like a speed bump in your mission and your goal for fitness, for wellness, for health. And I like that so much because it kind of takes away excuses. It's like, no, anything that's put in front of you with the right mindset, you can overcome. And you're definitely led by example.
Thank you. Yeah, I think New York City. Hello. I think I think it almost looked like it was too much of a speed bump, because I wanted to treat it almost like if it was a speed bump, and almost kind of like, okay, I'm done. In reality, it wasn't. And it had a profound effect, not only what was affecting me, but what was affecting my dad and my whole family.
Mhm.
So it was one challenge, accumulated to the next one and over another one. But yes, is realizing that if I didn't have the strength that I had developed and the discipline, it's mostly the discipline that I had developed through my own personal training, this would have been a lot harder for me to deal with, a lot harder. Because at some point, like a week into, I was told that I had cancer. And at the beginning, like I say in the documentary, I was like, okay, I have cancer. I'm going to like figure it out how to, we need to do it. And at the beginning, I think everybody's like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and the operation and blah, blah, blah. But then there's a point where your spirit sinks so low. And I remember I was in Central Park and I was walking in Central Park by myself. And I was like, where's my fighting spirit? It left me. I was like, it has to come back. I need to be a warrior right now. I mean, talking about being a warrior, now it's the real time. And I couldn't find my spirit. And then finally, I think after like a couple of weeks of like feeling really sorry about myself, I was like smacking myself. I'm like, come on, you gotta come out of this, because you have no choice. You have to. So you go through a lot of highs and lows.
Yeah, and I appreciate seeing that. There's some moments you're very frustrated about not being able to certain movements with your body, or work,
Yep.
or they're telling you can't do this right now, and you just want to power through, which I could totally respect. I do want to ask you though. You did go through something else that was a little traumatic. That was the experience with your father. Why was it that you decided to um, add so much of that as part of the documentary?
Good question. We did not know anything about my father. When we embarked in this project of doing a documentary, we also did not know what was going to happen to me. We decided to see, again, let's really prove that you have a message, Ilaria, that you believed all these 25 years, you've told all these people. Now, let's see if this message, really, that exercise can make you stronger for challenges. But then my challenge didn't stop. We were ready to kind of like wrap it up. And then 2 months after, I was still going through my own operations and my own stuff. And my father, came through with a diagnosis, was very, very serious. And we were like, what do we do now? And it was really like with a handheld camera. And I'm like, I'm going to Italy for Christmas. Let me just shoot some stuff in case, and not knowing it was part of the process. And then it developed into something much more serious. And with my mom permission, and with all of us, the little team that we had, we decided that we should have kept some of the image that we shot, which are in the documentary, in fact.
Okay, yeah, because that was my next question. Your family was okay with sharing that. I know that's very personal.
It was very personal, and I think though they understood. You meet my brother in the documentary, and he really profoundly understands my message and what I've been doing. And my mom has always been a supporter. My mom has been the strength that she has held us all together. She's seen me, she's seen my dad going through, and she's living through all of this. So it was like, whatever you want to do, it's okay. We're going to, it was my father at the beginning, being a typical Italian man, that it was like, what is this thing? Kind of, but he also distracted him a little bit. And it was, if at any point it would have felt uncomfortable for him or unwelcomed, it wouldn't have happened, basically.
What are some fundamentals that stick to you to this day from when you came over at a young age from Italy that have kept you motivated, kept you going, and still do today?
For one is that life is never easy, and you've got, I've always had a fight mentality, and I am the least violent person in the world. I hate deeply any kind of violence. So for fight, don't misunderstand me in terms of like, it's having like an armor outside ourselves, because I think from the very beginning, I came here at 19 years old as an immigrant. And not you, but I mean, it's us as it's not easy. And you develop a spirit where you sink or you learn how to swim. And it was more like that. And I decided early on that I wanted to learn how to swim. And I think that spirit stayed with me, but it also stayed with me because I always had martial arts as my passion. And again, I was always attracted to the world of martial arts. Yes, because of the movement, because of the strength, but it was also because of the emotional strength that I felt I was going to be able to achieve through that kind of training. And that has always helped me. It's part of my life. Being a black belt is not a belt, and it's not being doing things that look like, oh, I can swirl this around, or it's so much more than that. And that's been my strongest asset, basically, always.
Thank you. That's a great answer. How do you develop training programs? I couldn't even begin to ponder on how.
I'll tell you, it's very easy. I'll tell you, I was training to be a black belt, actually. And I had read somewhere in one of my favorite book of Bruce Lee that you have to do 1,000 punches every day and 1,000 kicks every day if you want to be a true black belt. And I literally, being the person that I am, I literally every day I was at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 100. And I would go increments of 100 until I get to 1,000 punches, to 1,000. And then at the same time that I was training very, very intensely with martial arts, and it was very serious, and we have a uniform, you don't smile. I would see people in classes back then, they were doing steps, they were doing things that don't even exist anymore. They were like dancing around, and they were having so much fun, and they were using music. And I thought, let me just put some music behind my movement just for rhythm, so that I don't have to count all the time. And that's how kind of the concept of incorporating martial arts to fitness really started. Obviously from there is a little more elaborate, but it's easy in the sense that the answer is that because it's something that I love movement, and I love martial arts. And I always wanted to bring the benefits that martial arts gave me to the average person. And, gyms are full of people. Dojo, martial arts studios are half empty, and they really don't have any women. And I really wanted to bring the message that is not intimidating, that is about being strong, that is about, to women, to girls, to anybody. And that's why I bridged it into the fitness world. And that's how I started.
That's great. So I want to ask you just a quick, how are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. I'm healthy today. I go for my checkup every 6 months. So you're never out of the woods when you have this kind of cancer, because you always, you're always afraid. Bottom line, you don't want to live that way, but you're always afraid that it might come back. So you always have this little, the sword right here that you never know if it's going. And I'm on medications. So I am for 10 years on pretty heavy duty medications, which do affect me physically and emotionally. And every day when I'm about to take it, I'm ready to just go, I don't want to take it anymore. I'm cured. I'm never going to take it. And then I remember that my doctor tells me that I would be very stupid if I stopped. So I'm okay, but I'm still medicated.
Okay. Yeah, you kept that line in the film. I did notice that.
Yeah.
So I want to wrap this up with the question. There's going to be thousands of people that watch this film, Stronger for Life, are going to be inspired by your story, are going to hopefully try to overcome their own shortcomings or their own tribulations that they're going through. What message do you have for them to get started, to light that spark in them?
First of all, trust that we all have a fighter in ourselves. And some of us, it's a little more prominent, and some of us is a little less prominent. And so to trust that you have it and you have the ability to fight. So not to surrender. You can't surrender. That would be the first thing. To me, the way to awaken that spirit, or to awaken that reaction of not surrendering but fighting, it comes through exercise, through physical movement. Whatever is the physical movement, it could be anything for any, it's different for different people. But sometimes, you know what, even waking up at 5 o'clock and going, if you don't have a gym and you're going for a power walk for half an hour, you come back and you feel differently. So to trust that, and to trust that the body will help the mind.
Ilaria, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your story, for sharing that. It means a lot to me. And I really hope Annie doesn't send me a consultation bill later, because I got so much out of this myself personally.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
It's a Stronger for Life, July 20th on all platforms, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. VOD and iTunes and all of those. Absolutely. July 20th.
Thanks again. And hopefully we'll see you again, and take care.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Emmanuel.